Hmm. Well, good evening. I'm sure that many of you were with me this morning or wished you were with me this morning because we had a live broadcast at 7:30 this morning at AM. I did the whole program, answered a tremendous amount of questions, and found out that Facebook just had a different idea about what we were going to do with regards to recording that. So you never saw it. I know Jackie Yates from down in Atlanta sent me a number of texts, and even Randy, my technical advisor, is saying, "What's going on? Why is there no broadcast?" Well, technology is really something that's a challenge, even though that we're so advanced in the areas that we are. We want to come today, and I figured I definitely want to come back, and I figured 7:30 as the time goes, that we can do something together, PM instead of AM. So what are we here for tonight? What are we here for tonight? Well, let me give you a little screenshot. Better together. About a month ago, I really started kind of churning up uh, my thoughts about asking some of the colleagues and some of my alumni that are part of the Hair Loss University, some of the people that are part of the Wigs for Kids organization. What are the pains? What are the pains that you're going through in business? Because we all have them. We all have them, and more now than ever before. Because the pandemic, in fact, for our Hair Loss University, was up and blossoming up to the pandemic closed down. When everything closed down, including salons and hair replacement centers and the whole world, a lot changed. Went through about 2.5 years of that, and now we're post pandemic, and we're really starting to feel the wounds and the impact of what has happened to our business in the hair replacement business, hair and scalp business. And it's not a pretty picture. But I have a quote for you. And I got a couple quotes for you today. So bear in mind, I want to share these with you because they're so valuable about what we're going to discuss tonight. This is a mastermind group that I had an idea to have. Just have us come together, ask the questions. And I don't have all the answers. I've been in business for over 45 years. And truly, I'm not going to claim that I have all the answers, but I have a lot of colleagues. I have a lot of experts. I have a lot of worldwide, specialists in the area of business, in the area of recruiting and marketing and all these other areas. And I've pulled them together to help me answer the questions that you have of the pains that you're undergoing in your business. Do you have pains? Well, you're going to hear some of the pains that those that responded to my question, what are the pains you have in your business, that responded very quickly. And many of them are very similar. That's really good because it means that we're in a group. And that's why I've titled this Better Together. There's nothing more valuable than having a community around you. That some of us are more experienced, more veteran, more wise because of our life in the business realm and experience. And there's some that are brand new, that have no idea what the next day is going to bring. And when you put those kind of people together, you have a powerful, powerful impact. Why? Because young, new businessees really create some of the greatest ways for those that have been in the business to think deeper, to think wider, to think higher, and to go beyond the day-to-day thinking process. It creates incredible amounts of energy inside of us that gives us the ability to not only answer the questions and help them with our experience, but create new insights into the future. I want to share something with you that one of the quotes that I'll be sharing tonight from came from John F. Kennedy. And he said this: the change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past and the present are certain to miss the future. Right now, the questions you're going to see that we're going to discuss and address today are based on what's happened over the last 3-year window where we were thriving in the hair replacement business, in the trichology business, in the hair thinning and hair loss business. Whether you were a salon that was just dealing with products and the ability to give treatments maybe to help healthy and growing hair and make it better, or whether you were a trichologist and you're going deeper into the study of hair and scalp, or whether you're in the hair replacement levels of the prosthetics that are now 3D technology. We were at an absolute pinnacle. And then our legs were cut out from underneath it. That's what happened to everybody. Some of the salons never reopened. Some of the salons are struggling right now because they're so busy, but they're not making any more money, and prices are raising and raising and raising in every area of their business life. And their emotions, your emotions, my emotions, have been absolutely off the charts. Would you agree? If you agree, give me a yes in the comments. But tonight, we're gonna share on a few questions that we're gonna address. And I'm gonna take for the next, week or so, and I'm gonna bring in some of the experts to answer these questions even in a better way, because there is much more depth and much more strength and much more wisdom and much more insight in having a broader spectrum, better together, having that unity of the best of the best. It's basically a mastermind group. And that's what I had the idea to do. Just put together this free ability to just talk, just discuss. Some of you, I'm going to invite you to actually be on broadcast with me and discuss and dialogue in regards of what you're dealing with in your business. And when we find a solution to your issue or your problem, that we all probably have as well, then we're going to find that there's others that are going to glean from that knowledge and put into practice to help them succeed. And know that I know my mission, both in my Wigs for Kids organization, as well as my private practice, as well as my Hair Loss Solutions University, is based on helping people that have experienced hair thinning and hair loss, men, women, and children, to look themselves, to live their life beautiful inside and out. It's a big responsibility. It's a very big responsibility. And without the answers to the questions we're faced with, you cannot accomplish that mission. You can't accomplish that goal. So that's why my thoughts were almost a year ago now, is to put together us together from all the different levels that come into the Hair Loss University, to Wigs for Kids, and in the stylist and beauty industry, and really glean the best knowledge possible just in discussion and question and answers. So you ready for that? Well, let's take on a couple questions. Before I do that, one more quote that I want to kind of give you. This came from a woman, young woman, who was blind. I listened to her words. It was Helen Keller. Alone, we can do so little together. Together, we can do so much more. Reread that for you. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Wow. And that's what Better Together is all about. That's what the Hair Loss University and Wigs for Kids are wanting to gather a community together of professionals, stylists and salon owners and hair replacement specialists, trichologists, and really help all of us grow, to help those people that we serve that have been so broken and are so hindered by the loss of their hair or the thinning of their hair. Because it goes a whole lot more deeper than just the cosmetic part of it. Let's go further. Let's take a look at some of the questions that came in. Kelli, who's one of our alumni and also one of our platinum coaches in the Hair Loss University, asked 4 questions. What is there? 3 questions there. I'm going to go through the questions with you, and we'll capture a couple of them because some of them are repeated. But in turn, we're going to come back on a weekly basis if that's what you want. In fact, I'm going to tell you up front, if you feel this is of value, then all I need to hear from you is yes. Yes in a comment right down below. Yes in a direct message. Yes back in the email that I sent you this morning. Yes. That's the answer to say, yes, you want to be a part of something bigger than you. something that is better together. You want to join that community that can truly help you grow by sharing and also participating in giving in regards to your relationship of knowledge that you've gained, no matter how little it might be. It's very important for those that don't have it. So, Kelly, when I sent out the questionnaire, I said, hey, tell me your pains. Tell me the things that are really challenging. What goes to bed with you at night that you're thinking about, maybe keeps you up at night. She came back with number one, finding employees. Okay, everybody raise your hand. How many are having trouble with that? Well, whether you're a hair replacement stylist, a restaurant, car dealer, it doesn't matter. It has been kind of a magic trick that the employees, the employment level has vanished. And so her question is so apropos. How do I find employees? We're going to address this one tonight in a greater depth as well. Education. Now, I hire somebody. How do I know if they're the right person? How do I know that they're the right person? There's an answer for that too. But then how do I get them educated to be able to catch up? I'm busy. I'm busy doing my work. I'm busy consulting. I'm busy styling. Cutting in. How can I train them to the level to really trust them to take the next level? Great question. I'm glad you asked that, Jeff. Then number three, she said, the pay structure. How do I create a pay structure for the employees? Do I give them commission? I'm going to tell you ahead of time before I answer those questions. No, that is not your word to success. That's your word to failure. My friend Neil Dukoff would teach you that from Strategies, and we'll talk more about him and what he has to say about payroll and structure and bonuses and all the things that keep people involved based on the bonus of the relationship of the salon hitting its goal together, better together, and then everybody shares together. You learn more about that today. And then marketing. How do you get more clients in? How do you get more clients in the door? There's more competition. Clients have gone online during the pandemic, and they absolutely have found where they could go buy hair pieces that are online. They can go on YouTube and find out how to put hair pieces on and stick them and tack them and do all the things that they think they can do. But how do you get new clients? We're going to talk about that too. Let's talk to the next entry was Jay about a Canada. Him and his wife are part of our alumni as well from the Hair Loss University. He said he agreed with all that Kelly mentioned. So he said amen to that whole process of what Kelly just mentioned in her 4 points. Let's go to Reba. Reba said, find on the shelf units. That means products that have been pre-made, hand designed or custom designed on the shelf, such as stock. She says, without having to have them custom for the texture I need. Now, of course, texture we need either curl or we need the Afro-American texture level and silky straight. How do you find those products? There are vendors that have those, Reba, and we're going to talk about them, share with you the resources to find that answer as well tonight. Now, I said tonight, I hope I can get to a lot of these tonight. I hope that we can get to enough that it doesn't bore you. I hope that it really touches you to be able to send in some of your own personal pains so that we can continue every week working through these. But there's more in our entourage, more in our university of experts and incredible people. I am not here to tell you I have all the answers. Now, 45 years, helping hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of salon people get involved and grow their business, working with almost every manufacturer in their designs and their educational development programs. I mean, all of them that I know that are on the top list of the manufacturers that I've worked with. I at least have some answers for it, but no one has all the answers. That's why we need each other. That's why we need each other. And all of a sudden, as you're even hearing this discussion, you may have an idea that pops up in your head. You should do this. Then you should put it in the comments because your thoughts are valuable to us. Your thoughts are valuable. Let's go further on what she says in regards to the time to receive product. Boy, about 4 months ago, it was taking 9 to 12 months to get a custom product. All of the shelves, the majority of shelves of the pre-custom goods that the manufacturers and manufacturers reps had were empty, and it was like bread or toilet paper during the pandemic. It wasn't available, and there was nothing in the horizon coming. And I'll tell you how that works in just a moment. But again, that's a great question that's coming from Jackie out of Atlanta, another alumni of our Hair Loss University. Then he said, law, and I love this one about Jackie because I've spent so many hours on the phone with him because he is an absolute great student. He's not only an incredible artist and stylist, but he's an incredible artist in regards to caring for people, including his own daughter that we've done so many storylines on, who've lost her hair and gone through the impact of hair loss. But in turn, look what he says in number 3. Loss of cohesiveness between colleagues and the support for helping with issues shared to narrow down problems small guys have, like himself. He calls himself a small guy. He's not a small guy at all, but his practice is small. He's a single practitioner working on styling, but mostly moving all his efforts into hair replacement. And I'm going to tell you something, he has absolutely knocked it out of the park. So we'll talk more about what Jackie has to say as well. And then we're going to go to Terri. Terri, the lack of stock units. Here's again for textured hair. Terri, let me share something with you. The last time that I was at the Hair Plus, which Modern Magazine had promoted and produced, I was a keynote speaker for them both the years that they had their expos. And one of the complaints I had to them is that there were no vendors with textured hair. African American hair in the different types of textures that it comes in that the people wear to match their culture, to match their style, to match their flavor, to really make them feel like themselves and look themselves and live their lives beautiful inside and out. So you are absolutely right on, Terri. There is a lack of that brought to the attention, but there is a whole global workup of things happening in that marketplace that I think you're going to be surprised. I'm going to share with you as we go forward. And then the continual rising costs. There you go. Rising costs of the pandemic since the pandemic started. The cost of hair has not only increased once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, but in a very short period of time in January should be increasing again. Bad news, but good news is coming because supply is down. But before I go into all of these other things that I know from behind the scenes and working with the manufacturers and working with the centers and coaching and all that, let's go back up to Kelli's first question that she asked. Kelli said, how do I find employees? Well, this year I joined to work with an organization called the Beauty Cast Network. Write that down. The Beauty Cast Network. And the Beauty Cast Network, Penny and Jim, who started that and founded that organization, have gone into the beauty schools and have really worked with the beauty students to develop their skill set and availability to go into the salons and work with the salons to recruit people to come into their salon. And it's an amazing organization. And they came to me and said, Jeff, we feel there's a missing link. The missing link is that the students don't understand the value of all of what their career holds, especially hair loss, hair thinning, hair treatments, trichology, and all the things that you do. Can you embellish and help us get that message across? So what we did is we put together a presentation for their expos that go all over. There's 6 a year, all over the United States. And the students come in, 6, 7, 900, 1,000 students come in, and we present to them the career track of hair thinning and loss. But that wasn't good enough because when I did the statistics and I started to study this, now listen to this, that of the majority of students all over the United States that go into beauty school and they graduate, not the ones that drop out, but graduate, that 12 months later, almost 80% of them do not renew their license. After the expense, after the time, after the training, because it just didn't meet their standards, or they didn't hit the right one. So all of a sudden, it's harder and harder and harder to find stylists, especially interns and new stylists. I looked at that statistic and said, there's a problem here. And then I went deeper into that study, and the study showed that about 15 to 20% of those that dropped out went into nursing or social work or some type of care, wellness care of people, because they went into the beauty industry thinking that they would be able to take care of people, make people beautiful inside and out. Are you following me? And here's the important part of it. From that reference and those statistics, I said, we need to have an assessment that we can give to the students or give to an employee, that they would take that and we would know that they are a real player, that they really fit this career track before we hire them. Because there's nothing worse than hiring somebody, training them, and they are off and running, right? That's a major investment. If you invest in anything, stocks or whatever you invest in, and you were investing and it kept dropping off the Dow Jones and all the things that the stocks do, you wouldn't be in business very long. But that's what happens in our centers. Or we shortchange the relationship of just getting a warm body. So here is an important lesson, not only for Kelli, but for Jay and for everybody else that's listening. To find the right employee for the future, don't take your first steps towards the people who are already in the industry. Go to the beauty schools, go to the beauty career programs that they have. Go and do education. Many of them are giving intern programs. Bring them in and shadow for a day what you do, and really give them the heart of what transformation you do in people's lives. Whether it's a great haircut on thin hair, whether it's an incredible trichology treatment, whether it's putting on a hair replacement system, whether it's working on a child through Wigs for Kids, whatever it might be, let them see the real spectrum and give them the assessment that we'll be able to provide through the Hair Loss University to be able to take and give them the assessment to know, are they a long-term player? Are they going to be around? Am I going to invest in a good investment or a high risk? Low risk, high risk? Yeah, I know you're supposed to balance it out, but it's better to have low risk if you have the opportunity to test the risk at that point. So Kelli, get into the beauty schools. Get into the beauty schools. Get known in the beauty schools. Come and give classes. Have them come and do what we call a day when they go from school to an event. They come into your center and they see what you do. Or you do a presentation. It's amazing. All you're looking for is one or two that you can nurture and develop. And your next question is, how do I educate them? I'm busy. I am doing consultations. I'm doing cut-ins. I'm doing all these things. How do I educate them? That's where the Hair Loss University comes in. Because we've created now, that we're going to be rolling out in January, the Hair Loss University will have layers and levels of freshmen, sophomore, seniors, all the way up. It gives the ability for us to continue to be trained as we need, as well as the beginning stages of teaching the basics, and then to the next level of certified stylists, then into advanced certified stylists, and then into the next levels that they want to raise to. So we have that built into our new membership at our Hair Loss University that you want to hear more about. But that's where you get the right person, plug in the fully educational structure, and then you've got something that you can grow into with that person. You can nurture them and mentor them. Remember something. This industry, the beauty industry that I am so blessed to be a part of, comes from nurturing and mentoring. Mentoring people to know the heartbeat, the talk of the hair, the sensitivity of the hair, the read of the hair. Now we've gone into the advancement of trichology and hair replacement. That's taught even deeper than just head knowledge. And that's what you'll be able to do if you have the right person. And that's where the assessment comes into an important part. Pay structure. The worst thing that the beauty industry ever did is to create commission. It created monsters. What's enough? 50%, 40%, 60%? Because whatever you pick on that number, next year is not gonna be enough. And see, there's a margin that where the owner of the salon no longer is making money, they're just keeping a warm body and providing overhead and providing services and things that they have in their center for this people to work in. So commission is out. Neil Dukoff from Strategy. I'll be bringing him in to do an interview to share with me, like I will be doing with that group that I talked about in the earlier stages, the Beauty Mass Network. Penny's going to be on. We're going to have a dialogue together, and we're going to relate to you what he's learned in recruiting. We're also going to talk about the relationship, what Neil Dukoff has created in strategy, how to build a business no longer in the beauty industry or the wellness industry in regards to commissions. But when you build a synergy of staff that are working like professionals on a productive rate, and that rate can increase, but also it's more increased by their bonuses as they help hit the mark, hit the goal of each and every month, each and every day. Every day in our center, we have a 15-minute huddle. And the huddle has we have a whiteboard in our dispensary, and we have all the goals. We have the retail goals, the sales goals, the service goals, the treatment goals, all the goals, and where we're at on the chart. And every day we are reviewing that with the staff. We're cheering them on when they hit the mark. We're cheering them on when they need that little encouragement to move it forward. It gets to the end of the month. We're cheering even more. And from the receptionist all the way to the bookkeeper to the stylists benefit from the bonus program that we'll tell you more about. Because that brings a synergy. It's no longer pay me more, pay me more, pay me more. That's a never-ending story. But you don't want to play that story. You don't want to even read that story. You don't want to be in business with that story because it's a losing story completely. So, Kelly, I hope I've talked a little bit about what you talked about. Now, marketing is a big picture. Well, I'm going to talk to you in the weeks to come about a very inexpensive, powerful, when I say that, powerful way of generating business. You know what it is? It's called word of mouth. And you have the ability to generate it. Now, word of mouth is not just your client telling another client. That's definitely that. And you have to cultivate that. And I'll share with you. But there is a whole referral program that we teach at the Hair Loss University, a referral program to the medical community, to the private practice medical community, to the salon community, to the anti-aging community, to the wellness businesses in the community. This referral campaign costs pennies for the return and the reinforcement of the people coming in through your door. And you know what? It's so funny because it almost happens overnight. You can make a visit to a hospital or visit to a doctor's office, and you know what to say. And you know how to open that door with what we're going to share with you. And you know how to then reinforce that. Give you an example. When a doctor sends you a client, just like another doctor sends another doctor a referral client, when that client comes in first, the doctor says, I'm going to be sending you, Jeffrey, a client. Sends you a card, sends you an email, introduces you. Then the client comes in, and then you refer back to that same response to them and saying, I saw Kathy today. She was a delightful person. Thank you for sending her in. We're going to be doing this, this, and this with her, and we believe that she's going to be very satisfied and will keep you informed. Wow. How much did that cost you? That much. Oh. Now, the medical market is much harder, like for our Weeks for Kids organization, for us to get the social workers that send our affiliates and our certified stylist supports the team, kids that are going through cancer, going through trichotillomania, going through alopecia. We have to go through that door. The doctor is not even considered in that point because the doctor is in and out, and they're just buzzing through the process of medical practicing. But in turn, the social worker is face to face with the moms, with the dads, with the kids. So there's a whole different campaign that we use in referral that way through the Wigs for Kids organization, but also you can glean from that, and we'll be sharing that with you in the near future. So marketing, I know social media and advertising and all of these other things, they're needed. Yeah, I agree. But I'll show you a number of different ways to do it that makes a whole lot of difference. How about this? How about running a contest, a makeover contest? You know how many women love makeover contests, and now guys like makeover contests. And they come in and they need to give you a profile, and we have a profile online that you're able to do digitally, where they go through all the questions that you would give them in a consultation. They take their photographs, they send them in, and the agreement is that if they win the contest, they will be your story. They will be your story. They will be your model that will tell the story, and then we'll walk you through the process of how to take your camera right out of your phone, if that's the only tools you have, and you videotape the testimony, the story that then plays into your online social media impact. Instagram, TikTok if you want, Facebook, YouTube, and gives you the ability to tell your story to someone else. Just like a referral is so much more powerful than an advertised for lead, the reality of a story and them telling their story about what you've done to transform their life, the game changes completely. So everybody spends a lot of money doing a lot of things, but there's a lot of simple things that still work today more than ever. Well, I hope that you've gotten some ideas of what we're trying to put together in regards to this question and answer time period, because there's a lot to go over. And, into Jay, Jay, I hope you got the same thing that Kelli got from what I just shared with her. Let's go quickly because I'm running out of time. I don't want to keep you all night long, but I want to go over with regards to a couple other things. What's happening to the shelves that Reba is talking about? The shelves of pre-made products that we were able to open a catalog, go online, order, resell, repurpose it and selling it to our client. And in many cases, they're high quality products. But here's what has happened is the shelves have become empty. Why? Because custom orders and other orders have blocked up the materials like the hair and the nylons and the silks and the materials they use in the hair pieces have been, just stretched out in the ability to get it, just like bread, as I said, and toilet paper during the pandemic is really, truly a problem. And to get it, the factories have had to spend more money to get it, so they pass that money immediately over to us with a surcharge. And so it keeps going up. Well, now you're going to find in 2023, anything on the shelf is going to be as much or more expensive than a custom-made goods. And you're going to find more of the manufacturers trying to push away on doing custom-made goods. I'm telling you this across the 5 continents of manufacturing that I consult with the manufacturers' reps that are here in the United States. So what do I do? Well, first of all, you're going to have to raise your prices. And I'm going to share in the weeks to come things and how to make that more palatable to your client. But don't wait. As I told my own son in regards to raising prices in our center, you can't wait. The knowledge of pricing going up everywhere for everything is happening. You want to join that flow, and you don't want to wait till after all the burn to be the one that raises your prices, and now suddenly you're the bad guy. They point all their venting and all their anger and all their frustrations on that you're taking advantage of me. And your heart's to help them, but you also have to make a profit. And we're going to talk about pricing for profit. That wasn't in the questions this week, but it's one of the questions that I'm going to share with you in the future weeks to come. But in turn, let's talk about the texture. There are vendors that have it. I spent now a year and a half researching and redeveloping relationships with boutique manufacturers, because what happened in China, what happened even in Thailand, is that the manufacturers all became conglomerates. In one factory building where they might have 5,000 workers, there might be 5 or 6 different companies under different names being produced in those particular, buildings. And there's a building right across the street that another conglomerate owns, and they're doing the same thing. And now they're actually shifting the work to the homes of the workers. So it's difficult light, it's not good hygiene, all the things that take place in those countries. And we're seeing some of the results in bad quality. I think Jackie later on asks about that. Bad quality, densities and wave patterns and direction of hair are not the caliber of quality that we're used to. Okay. So that's why I really researched some of the most incredible boutique, small companies that have incredible product, incredible maintaining of the quality of workmanship and materials. Most of them are owned by families. In fact, there's one that's opened up right now in New York. In New York, they're building everything right in New York, the workers and everything right here in the United States. And I'll share that because we have a vendor, resource for you to be able to tie into some of these unbelievable, wonderful companies that are not big conglomerates, but have quality goods and quality workmanship. That doesn't mean that everything's perfect. It's still man-made and human-made, but in turn, give you the ability to find some new vendors that'll give you some real customer service, which has been lost in the last 3 years. Lost. And that's sad. That's sad. So in turn, Reba, there's an answer to that. You'll find it in the different vendors that I'll be able to share with you through the university in regards to our vendor resources, and we'll make that introduction for you, and hopefully that you'll be getting great service at that point. There's other recommendations I'm going to make in the future, such as your own private line or a buying group. And those are pretty important elements that I'm going to share with you as we go down the road just a little bit in learning more together. And as we get better together, there are so many other opportunities that kept coming together that we have to be able to leverage a community in the process of negotiations, in the issue of getting the quality, getting the service, and getting the timing that is so important of being able to deliver in a manner that is successful for that client's need. Okay, let's go further. Can you tell I'm not excited about what I'm talking about? Okay, here's Jackie's statements. He said, vendor inconsistency. This is what I was relating to before. You get one hair system that the medium density is too light. You can see the paint. You see here, see the hairline. The next one, too thick. The next one is too short. You order 12 inches, but you only got maybe 10 and some fraggly ends that stretch out to 12 inches. So that is a given. That's happening. Is it supposed to happen? No. What do you do when it happens? That I'm going to share with you further as well in the future in regards to dealing with manufacturing error. Manufacturer's error. Now, the factories don't want to hear anything about that. They just want to dump the load on the ship. They want to send it overseas, and they just want to wash their hands of it. Then the middleman, which is your broker in the United States, doesn't want to have to do anything to do with it either because now they have no backup and their margin is less margin than the margin of the factory. So you're caught in the hard spot where the client's seeing their scalp and they don't like it because it's too thin. Well, as a group, as a developing group of mastermind, as a community, we have a say in that. And we want that voice to be heard. And that's where I think the power comes in better together at that point. Let's go further in Jackie's questions. He said the time to receive product has been getting a little bit better, Jackie. It really has. It has jumped 2 months, 3 months better than it was at the beginning of this year. Will it get better? Well, what's happening overseas, in especially the custom goods, is the fact that there is these random shutdowns happening, even right now, that are happening throughout China and Indonesia and in all the areas that they manufacture, Vietnam, where they've opened these factories, and they're not all run like you and I would run our centers. So in turn, the reality is we have to take a look at that, and that's where I think having an inventory, write this down, having an inventory in your center, even if it's a small inventory of the things that you do the most of, is a safer investment again. You got to invest in your career, you got to invest in your business. But investing in that is really an important element so that you can deliver something. Because remember, the difference between the quality of custom and the quality of something that's been pre-custom is almost equal now. Yes, there's some nuances that are different, but they're different, and pre-custom is becoming more expensive than the even custom, if you can even get the custom done. Because as I said earlier, many of the manufacturers have told me from their own lips, they're trying to eliminate custom. And I know there's 2 companies right now that I have been told from them they're not taking any custom goods and have always been in the custom goods work because they're getting so much pushback from the manufacturers. You got to understand this, how this works. You have this owner of a factory. This is the government or a group that owns these factories, and they buy these supplies, and the suppliers are outside of the countries, and they're having their increases, they're having their difficulties getting shipping and the increase. And then when they go through the process of manufacturing, they are sending it out, and the reps in the United States get it, and suddenly they have to deal with it. And over the last 6 months, I've seen some of the best companies I've ever worked for turn sour. Their sales reps have turned sour because they've gotten so much beating up on the phones, so much aggravation because they don't have hair pieces deliverable. They promised to be in 6 months. It's now 9 months, and they don't even know what the ETA is. And so they've gotten really angry. Have you noticed angrier people? Well, that's part of what's happened from all of this dynamics of the factories now are in control, where the brokers used to be able to negotiate warranties, used to negotiate price, you can negotiate things. They have no real power anymore. They're being directed and empowered by the factory to only follow the spectrum of what they're going to do for them. So it's turned upside down, but there's an answer. There's an answer, and I promise you there's an answer. So we will share much more of this as we go on. Terri, your question was also, I'm going to wrap up in a few minutes, the lack of stock again in units, especially in textured hair, and then the continued rising costs. Let me share something with you. I always like to share good news, but pricing is not going to go down. Pricing is not going to go down, and neither is probably the interest rate. Pricing is not going to go down, so you have to know how to raise your prices. You need to never lose your margin. Lose your margin, lose your business. And so we're going to talk about pricing for profit. I have a whole program on pricing for profit that I will share with you through the Hair Loss University as well, that will really help you. And if you're someone right now, let's say that have listened to this and like, wow, this is over your head, we are able to take you at the Hair Loss University. If you're just one of our, not just one of your, if you're a special part of our Hair Loss University with regards to wigs for kids, if you're a person who's cutting ponytails, or you're somebody who is taking care of our children, then we love you and we appreciate your volunteer work for us. But if you're thinking about going in advance, and I just recently gave an honor to a young lady, Rachel, when I was speaking in Connecticut. It was an amazing show. She had done 6 kids, and she came in with her purple hair, and she had her tattoos, and she was just absolutely just cutting edge. And she came up, and we gave her a plaque, and she was so thrilled because we talked and showed her kids, and the 2 little girls had fell in love with each other as best friends in the hospital, and they got the same hair piece, and they got the same haircut. Well, long story short, she came up to me at the end. She goes, I didn't know there was more to do with hair replacement, because I got clients every day coming in and saying my hair is thinning, or COVID caused my hair to fall out, or I'm going through spots in my. She said, I don't know what to do with them. I said, well, that's where the Hair Loss University plays a very important role. And from cosmetology student, to early stages of the step-by-step baby steps to get into the field, from maybe just working with thinning hair to working in your first hair pieces and cut-ins and styles, into advancing and opening a business like Kelli and Jackie have done. We're here to help you. We're here to support you in every way. Well, I need to call it a day. So we're on my vacation with my wife, our 43rd anniversary, and we just went through a hurricane, which we learned a lot about. I'll be telling you about that very soon. But we're here with sunshine at the moment, and um, I just want to let you know that I love you for being a part of this group and this organization, Hair Loss University and Wigs for Kids. And I want you to know that I'm in it with you because I have my own private practice, and it really is a real thing, helping people that are experiencing hair thinning and hair loss to look themselves, to live their life beautiful inside and out. So when you turn them in the mirror and that smile and that glow comes to their face, it never gets old. And you know that you're on purpose. You know that you're doing what God's created you to do. So I pray that you have a successful steps into the future with what I've shared with you. I hope there's been something of value. Please let me know in the comments. Again, if you think this is valuable, this is something you want on a regular weekly basis, and even more embellished with interviews and more details and downloads and things that I can help you with, then simply put yes in the comments or in the email that I sent you, which is even better. Send me a yes. Any comments about today? Please, your comments are the value of what I get out of doing this. This is free for you. But the value of your response is what makes the difference in what I can deliver to you, because I know that I'm delivering what you need, want, and desire, and what's causing you pain. I want to help you with that pain. So in turn, let me know. And if anything, you can always send me a direct messenger. I'll try to keep up on those. Those are a little bit more tougher for me, but I'll get there. And I just want you to know, you are a special career breed of people. You do something that no one else can do. You do what a mom and dad can't do for a kid. You do for a woman what no dress or jewelry or hairstyle could do for them. You do for a man what no laurel can do, no success can make him feel like. You do that, and you take care of their hair thinning and hair loss. Thank you for being a part of this. We do a very special work, and you're a part of that. Let me know. Give me your comments. I'll look forward to reading each and every one of them. I'll respond back to you. And any of your questions, any of your pains, send them in so that we can find solutions to your pain. And we help find solutions to hair thinning and hair loss. I'm Jeffrey Paul, and I'm here to help. I'm here to help you. Have a beautiful evening. Rest and enjoy. And I'm going out to the sun tomorrow morning. Not tonight, but tomorrow morning. Enjoy it with my wife, Zena, who you'll meet soon. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.